Jesus
Hello,
Christ.
everyone. It happens every week, Amanda. It happens every week.
It's just so loud on my computer this time.
Yeah, I know. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of the Nothing to See Here podcast.
You counted?
No, I was editing today, so to make sure I was still working on the right episode, because the episodes save as like the date we recorded, and by the time I get to the editing process of each episode, I forget what day we recorded it as. And you can't like change the title when you're saving. Maybe you can, but by the time we end recording, I'm very tired and I just want to save it and go to bed. But because I was editing and making sure what the next episode was, I have Hannah's list of titles and descriptions up.
Ah,
And since Hannah makes the list and obviously knows what her episode is going to be, she has the title for Amityville Horror up.
gotcha.
And that's episode 32. So this is episode 33.
I'm
Next
gonna laugh.
week, will I say a number? Probably not.
I will say I'm gonna laugh if we find out later that Hannah's math is wrong.
It possibly could be, because I do not include the numbers in the episode titles. But
I think the numbers are just for me.
I'm gonna trust Hannah that her numbers are right.
I don't have any reason to not trust Hannah,
Yeah.
aside from she traumatized Rice Ball. But to be fair,
I have apologized to Rice Ball. I'm very sorry for making Rice Ball into Super Cat.
I think she just holds grudges. I think me and her are similar in that regard.
Rice Ball or Hannah?
Rice Ball
Rice Ball
is allowed to hate me.
Oh, all right.
All the other cats don't have a problem with you. But to be fair, she also hates Frankie.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but that's just, I don't know why she hates me. I've done nothing to her.
I think it's because you didn't call her pretty the one time we told you to call her pretty.
I was going to, and then she ran away before I had the chance to.
You needed to say it right then and there.
Well, I'm busy.
Every time
I'm a busy
she walks
guy.
into a room, you say she is a beautiful goddess and she's so pretty.
I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to do that.
Should
Hey, by the way, hi, I'm Frankie.
Yeah.
It's Hannah.
I have some comments that we can read. We're on episode 33 and we finally have comments.
Well, these were comments that were texted directly to you, so
I'm gonna count them.
How long have you been holding on to these comments also?
Well, I texted Erica because I forgot to tell Erica. By the way, this is about one of our friends, Erica, that I met in grad school and then incorporated her into this group. I texted Erica, or actually we FaceTimed just to catch up because she lives not in PA on May 19th, and I got the first text message at 8 p.m. on May 19th. So, and I've just been accumulating them because I forgot to tell her that we do a podcast, and I remembered to tell her when we talked.
I was told these are all for me as well.
They're not all of them are for you, but there's definitely one that is specific to you.
There's one for you that I was told about yesterday, and I agree with it, so I'm very happy we got this comment.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Me and Frankie went to a water park, which, by the way, Frankie, are you sunburnt? Because I'm fucking, I can't move.
I have no sunburn at all. The only issue I had after yesterday is I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, my leg's are a little sore. I kicked it out. I'm good.
Yeah, you know what Frankie got upset about? He got upset because he had to like keep his legs open, like his thighs open.
Yeah, one of the first slide we went on, I had to like open my legs to get in like the inner tubes, you know, Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
And my thighs were a little sore from that.
Women have to keep their thighs open all the time, or else we chafe. And I mentioned this before, porn actresses. They always have their thighs open. During sex, women have to have their thighs open.
Hey, I didn't say that women aren't stronger than me. Most of them are. That's a fact. Most human beings on the planet, men, women, non-binary, all of them, stronger than me.
That's fair. Frankie also almost threw up in the wave pool.
I did almost throw up.
Ew.
I swallowed some water. I wasn't ready for the wave. It got me.
He didn't.
I didn't. It wasn't really throw up. It was like I almost choked up some stuff.
Like a baby burp.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're gonna go back. We have season passes.
we have season passes, so we're gonna be there all the time, swimming in pee. By the way, Hannah, are you doing anything on June 19th?
We're gonna ask on air.
Yeah, put some pressure.
Yeah, the pressure of the fans when this episode airs on. Oh, Hannah has the dates. When this episode airs on July 31st, the fan pressure for June 19th will really come at her.
Yeah.
June 19th, I believe, is my dog's vet appointment, but that's in the morning.
What
What
time does
time in the
Kennywood
morning?
open?
Kennywood opens at like 10, but the rides don't start until like 11.
The vet appointment, I believe, is at like 9:45.
Oh,
Perfect.
that's perfect timing then.
Why?
I'm going to Kennywood with. I have off that day. It's a federal holiday. It's Juneteenth, everybody.
Yeah, it's Juneteenth.
I was just
So-
about to ask what holiday.
So I have off. So I'm going to Kennywood with my girlfriend. And I mentioned this to Amanda yesterday, and Amanda was like, "Well, I'll either have off or I'll take off and meet you there because my season pass is also for Kennywood." And then she was like, "I'll ask Hannah if she wants to come."
Yeah, because I get free tickets with my pass.
So I don't have to pay to get in.
No, that's the whole reason why I said I'll ask Hannah to come. Because if there's anything that you like amusement park food, and you like not having to pay for amusement parks.
Since I do not have to pay to get in, I will consider coming. I do not know how long this vet appointment is going to be.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Okay.
out out there.
Tentative, yes. Would like to. May not work out though.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out off air.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then I can see Frankie and give him the gift I brought him back from Point Pleasant.
Oh, I'm excited.
Did I get a gift?
You have a gift as well.
I mean, thank you for sending me Mothman's butt.
Yeah,
And
thanks for
also-
that.
That was
and thank
on Instagram. I hope you all enjoyed that.
And my mom is very happy that you sent his non-existent bulge as well. So I appreciate that. That was a request from the peanut gallery. Because I asked for his butt, and she said, well, what about his package?
You don't have one.
He doesn't have one.
He's a Ken doll.
He doesn't need
I
one.
saw the slightest bit of a bulge. It's like if he had a clitoris.
He's a grower, not a shower, all right?
But he's called Mothman, so it can't be a clitoris. I mean, it could.
Okay.
man.
What are Erica's comments?
So the first one has to do with the Animorphs. Remember when we talked about that early on?
We talked about Animorphs
You
Yeah, I
when
think
you
it
did
was
your review.
One. Yeah, and Frankie said it was the
on my
only-
blog, not on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, and it was the only review that he actually waited to
That I
read.
read the day of.
Yeah,
Like
the-
I
yeah.
waited for your
Oh, we're
tweet
all
to
the way
say-
back in episode 1. Okay.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
waited.
I
to
haven't
see-
listened to that episode because my voice was very shaky throughout it, so I can't do it.
I waited to see like for your tweet because you always have a tweet when your
Yes.
blog
I
post goes
tweet
up.
and I post the link on Instagram sometime afternoon.
And I waited for that to come, and I read the whole post that day.
Thank
I
you.
usually like wait until you have some bulk posts, and then I read through them then. But
Okay.
The message I got was, and I think this one was directed towards me because I gave some flack about the Animorphs thing. Erica said, Animorphs is one of the best book series.
It was a good book. You know,
It is one of the best book series.
never had the whole point of my Animorphs post was I had never read the series. And it was a good book. The one that I read.
They freak me out, especially the girl that turns into a rat. Unnecessary.
she's not
next-
always a rat. Anyway, go on.
She's not always a rat. Okay, thank you. The next one, this has to do with Ligonier days when we got the peach lemonade that looked like a butt. And I said that Frankie was drinking butt juice. Erica commented, I have butt juice too.
What does that mean?
She has peach juice, I hope is what she means.
I
Yeah.
hope that's peach juice. It might be butt sweat. I don't know.
All right.
I laughed really hard at it. The next one. This one was for Frankie. This is the one that Frankie said he agreed with Erica about. It was Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf is an awful movie. I replied, no, it's not.
I am with Amanda.
And she said, I dare you to watch it now with adult eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I
We will
can't
be
wait.
soon.
I can't wait for you guys to watch it and realize, oh, this was bad, and it's always been bad.
What? Googie's in it. Isn't that her name?
Yeah. We're gonna get to that one soon enough. Don't you worry, Scooby-Doo fans.
This one was yesterday. The message was, I don't have Hannah's number, so let her know I agree with her about Wuthering Heights.
The best text to ever get. Because
Erica.
Wuthering Heights is bad.
Erica, I need you to go to readinghasruinedmylife.com and post on my post called A Hate Letter to Wuthering Heights and just say you agree with me. Thank you. That is all.
All three of you are objectively wrong.
No, we're not.
You are.
We're all correct.
You are the incorrect answer right now, Amanda.
I would love you to come to here and say that my mother is incorrect to her face and see what happens. She would sit on you and crush you.
Monique
said that
agrees with us that Wuthering Heights sucks.
Oh no, she does not. Do I need to call the peanut gallery in here?
Yes.
Peanut
I'm
gallery!
fairly certain she said it's a horrible book.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible book. It's
peanut gallery!
It's one of the worst things ever written.
I'll agree with that statement, Frankie.
There's a lot of bad things out there, and that's one of the bad things out there.
It is not that bad.
It's horrible.
The show is the movie. Oh man, no, they're good.
The movie's awful too.
You're awful, Mom. Hannah seems to think that you hate Wuthering Heights. Is that true or false? She likes Wuthering Heights.
She was too far away. I need to hear it from her voice.
Come here. I like Wuthering Heights.
Oh no!
You sound like you're being held at gunpoint, Monique.
I'm not being held at gunpoint.
Oh no!
Blink twice if you're in trouble.
The last comment I have from Erica is the Highgate Vampire Story was good. I've never heard of it.
You're welcome, Erica. I'm so glad I could bring you that story.
It is a good story.
And there's a lot of information I didn't mention. So if you want more, you can go do some research for yourself.
All right. Now, we're going to get into the bulk of our episode.
Yeah, what are we doing, Amanda?
We're talking about the good old little baby deer that doesn't end up being a baby at the very end, has babies of his own. We're talking about Bambi.
He's so cute.
He's adorable.
He's very cute. I do have a little bit of... I did so much background after I watched this movie today about these characters and everything, too. So, Bambi was made in 1942, obviously by Walt Disney Productions.
I thought it was made by DreamWorks.
It was based on Felix Sultan's, I'm going to say that. Felix Sultan's 1923 novel, Bambi, A Life in the Woods. Did not know that this was based on a book.
It's very different from the book.
I didn't either. I want to read the book, even if it is different.
It received 3 Academy Award nominations for Best Sound, for Best Song, which is the first song at the beginning, Love is a Song, and Original Music Score.
And boy, does it deserve it for original music score.
It does. It does. In June 2008, the American Film Institute presented a list of the 10 top 10s, the best films in each 10 classic American film genres, after polling 1,500 people from the creative community. I'm just curious who the creative community is. Bambi placed 3rd in animation. In December 2011, the film was added to the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. And this is where we might be getting some upsetting news. In January 2020, it was announced that a photorealistic computer-animated remake was in development.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
A live action, quote unquote.
Oh, no.
Just some fun facts.
That's so upsetting. God, I'm angry now.
I know. That's what I said. I'm gonna bring it back though. I got some fun facts. The rights to this novel were sold to Disney, and Disney began work on crafting this film, intending it to be the second feature length animated film. However, the original novel was written for an adult audience and was considered too grim and somber for a regular lighthearted Disney film. The artist also discovered that it would be challenging to animate deer realistically. These difficulties resulted in Disney putting production on hold while the studio worked on several other projects, which we watched. In 1938, Disney assigned Pierce and Carl Fahlberg to work on the film storyboards, but attention was soon drawn away as the studio began working on Fantasia. Finally, on August 17, 1939, production on Bambi began in earnest, but progressed slowly owing to changes in studio personnel, location, and methodology of handling animation at the time. This is the really cool part. Although animators had animated deer in Snow White, they were animated, in the words of Eric Larson, who was an animator for Disney, like big flour sacks. So Disney wanted the animals in Bambi to be more realistic and expressive than those in Snow White. He had Rico Lebrun, a painter of animals, come and lecture to the animators on the structure and movement of animals. Animators visited the Los Angeles Zoo, and Disney set up a small zoo at the studio with animals such as rabbits, ducks, owls, skunks, and a pair of twin fawns named Bambi and Faline, so the artist could see firsthand the movements of these animals.
Did they get to pet the animals?
I would think that you would pet.
Because I want to sit and cuddle the baby deer.
Although there were no humans in Bambi, live action footage of humans was used for one scene. Does anyone want to guess what the scene was?
Wait, were they pretending to be animals, or like were they standing in for what they wanted the animals to do?
They were being live action references for the scene.
When all the animals are going to meet Bambi after he's born.
Okay. Frankie, your guess?
My guess is I have no idea. I guess I would guess the romantic scenes.
Incorrect, both of you. It's when Bambi and Thumper are on the icy pond.
That's dumb.
That is adorable.
It is kind of cute. Due to World War II, Pinocchio and Fantasia failed at the box office. Because Disney was facing some financial difficulties, they were forced to cut 12 minutes from the film. It was released during World War II and did not perform as well as they had hoped. However, its re-releases earned them a shit ton of money, and the film earned 14 million in domestic rentals from its reissues in 1966 and 1975, giving a total domestic rental of 18 million 70, or I can't read math. 18 million 735,000, which equates to today $40 million. It is the highest grossing animated movie of all time, right after Snow White. And boy, does it deserve those accolades. I'll be honest, I was a little worried going into it that it wasn't going to hold up to my imagination or what I remembered it to be. It did.
I loved it.
Yeah, I genuinely, I enjoyed every minute of this. So
as a kid, I fucking hated this movie.
Why?
Because I was a little boy and I wanted action. I wanted stuff happening. And there are a lot of times in this movie where there is not anything happening.
That's fair.
And it's slow. But now as an adult, it's not slow in a bad way.
It's not slow, but I get that it would be slow to a kid.
It isn't really slow, but it's like, I think actually it's like there's no action happening. I wanted action as a kid. My favorite Disney movie
was Aladdin.
Yeah.
Oh,
that might
man.
change thanks to this. I don't know. Eventually, it might change. But Aladdin was my favorite because as a little boy, because there's always something happening. But I fucking love this.
Yeah, so Bambi is beautiful.
So let's get into this real quick, just as a starter. Hey, Frankie, what did we not have?
There's no content warning for Bambi, which is a breath of fresh air. I didn't think there would be, but you never know because you might misremember a film, right?
Mhm.
Also, I feel like this is a film none of us really watched as children because I'm
Incorrect.
with Frankie. I know I watched it like once or twice, but it was not on rotation in my house.
Yeah, it wasn't on rotation in my house, so like I wasn't sure if there would be one or not. Like maybe there's something hidden in there that I just didn't think of. But there
There
is
were
no
some more
content.
crows.
Yeah, there's no content warning, and I was very happy about that because whenever the content warning pops up, I'm always like, oh, what's it gonna fucking be this time?
Yeah, I really, and I'm sorry if I'm stupid and I'm missing something, but I didn't see anything problematic with this movie.
It's just a good movie.
It's just a good movie.
You know what's problematic?
That more movies aren't like this.
That they shot Bambi's mother.
That they
Okay.
don't make more hand drawn animated films. Yeah, that is problematic, Hannah.
Yeah. I let's dive in because Frankie wants to go to bed. So first off, we do start off like all Disney movies at this time. Beginning credits. This time though, it's not just like the instrumental. We get like an original song. And I was vibing with this song. It got me in the mood. Not that sounded sexual, but like it got me in the right headspace to watch this movie.
It set the tone for the film.
Plus, at the beginning, once the credits have gone and we're still kind of listening to the song, you see these beautiful hand drawn background scenes that we know how they were produced based on watching the Reluctant Dragon, that big long camera. So
But they're so fucking great. They're so beautiful.
they're amazing. Like if I could, I would want like my bedroom painted exactly like this. Like it's so relaxing to look at.
This is
Um
why we need more hand drawn. Disney needs to make just once in a while a hand drawn animated film.
yeah, with actual like paint, not like using Procreate or anything like that. Like paint. Make a film like you made Bambi. So the first character we see is the owl. He comes swooping in, friend owl. I'll be honest with you, every time I saw friend owl come up, I thought this is what Frankie's gonna be when he's an old man.
Why?
Wait, you have Frankie resonating as the owl?
Yeah, I do.
Because I have animals for both me and you, Amanda.
Oh, okay. Um,
When they come up, I will say,
we see a squirrel and we see a little chipmunk that was sleeping underneath that squirrel's tail. Very cute. All of these animals are just the cutest fucking
they're
animals I've
so
ever seen.
adorable.
They
And
did
there's
such a good
more.
job. The cutest animal is that little mouse who comes out of his little burrow nest thing and like washes his face with a little drop of dew. That mouse, I love that mouse.
I identified as that mouse.
Was that who you
That
were?
was who I had. I was like, if I'm in this film, I'm the mouse.
Am I Thumper?
You are not Thumper, no.
Then we see Thumper. He wakes up, he comes out of his little den, and he hears from the birds because I guess they're whistling that it's finally happened. Frankie, what's finally happened?
The prince is born, baby!
Yeah, the new prince is born.
Before we get to the Prince's Born, because Amanda kind of skipped over
I'm not gonna name every animal.
her.
We
Well,
can hear
you skipped
forever.
over your animal.
Am I a quail?
You are not a quail. You are one of the baby birds in the nest. You are the one who steals all the berries.
Okay.
Oh, that scene was fun. Where the two
Hmm.
birds they get the twig from their mom
And they're
and
fighting
they're
over
fighting
it.
over it, and then the
And then
third
the
just
third
pops
one.
out.
Yep, that's Amanda, is that bird.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Hmm.
So all these animals come into this little burrow, and we see all of Thumper's family. Thumper is the only boy in his family. All of these animals are just crowding around this woman who just gave birth. I know that it's their prince and everything, but let's give the woman some space. But I mean, I guess it's a momentous occasion. So Bambi wakes up. I'm surprised that he doesn't scream when he sees everybody looking at him.
He wants to.
But Frankie Owl, I'm gonna call him Frankie Owl for the rest of the
I
thing.
hate this.
Frankie Owl scares the crap out of him for a second by saying "hoo hoo" really close to his fucking face. Why'd you do that, Frankie?
He has to know I mean business.
Gotcha. Well, Bambi then tries to walk. We find Thumper. Thumper needs to get out of the fucking way.
No, stop this. I'm not gonna have this Thumper slander on a show I'm involved in. Thumper is the fucking best.
I love Thumper, but
He's a little mean.
he's a little mean.
He's a little kid. This is like what little kids talk like. Little kids are mean.
He says to Bambi, or he says to his mom, kind of wobbly, isn't he? And his mom goes, Thumper. And he's like, well, he is. And then he just looks back at him and says, aren't ya?
Thumper is a misbehaving little boy. He behaves exactly like you think a little boy would.
Anyway, Bambi then goes back to his mother because he gets sleepy, and a friend Al, Frankie Al, starts shooing everybody away. Before Thumper leaves, he asks, what are you going to call him? And Bambi's mom, by the way, Bambi's mom is not named. I looked this up. It's just called Bambi's mother. She's like, I'm going to call him Bambi. And Thumper makes a face for a minute and he says, yep, I guess that'll do.
I'm sure Bambi's mom was waiting for Thumper's approval.
I know. If Bambi's a prince, I mean, I know his dad's the great prince of the forest, so wouldn't that make...
Does Bambi know that?
I don't know, we'll get to that. But doesn't that make Bambi's mother like the great princess of the forest or something?
No.
He's not married to the great prince.
Yeah. They're clearly like, they just had sex. They're not like in any kind of relationship.
Don't say that.
What? The truth?
No, don't say the truth. So Bambi's walking around, he's getting used to his legs. Everybody just keeps going up to him and he's like, good morning, young prince.
Showing him the respect he deserves. I like it.
Even though he's a bastard.
I'd be so, I don't know, I feel like there's so much pressure on me. And he
You're
didn't.
the prince?
Yeah, did he not question why people are calling him prince?
He was just born.
He's walking around already. It's been at least 2 days.
No, baby deer walk when they're first born. They're like horses and giraffes.
Giraffes are kind of forced to walk, though, because they're dropped from like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah. But they're an animal that is born capable of walking.
Interesting. Anyway, so we see a bunch of animals saying hi to him. The one animal that I didn't remember was cute, but I now think is also cute, the mole.
Mole was cute.
He was really cute, and he has like a very like burly voice. He's like, good morning. And he's like, nice sunny day, and then immediately dives back down. That's who I am, Hannah. I am that mole.
No, you're the problematic bird.
He's not problematic. He's not
problematic.
He's not problematic. He broke up a fight.
He's just a thief.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. That's better than problematic.
So Bambi tries to get over a tall thing of grass and falls down. And of course he falls down right in front of Thumper. And Thumper goes, he doesn't walk very good, does he? And thankfully Mrs. Hare, which is Thumper's mom, was like, Thumper, what did your father tell you?
And boy, does Thumper's dad tell him a lot.
After he gets lectured, him and his sisters go over to Bambi and tell him to get up again. And they go and they play around. And they're just cute playing. Bambi tries to figure out how to go down a small little hill. And he slides down on his butt. If that were me, I would have gotten, like, brush burns or something. This is where we find out why Thumper got his name. He's standing in front of a log and he starts thumping. And
he does that earlier, too.
Yeah, but this is where he initially says it.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I'm thumping. That's why they call me Thumper. So he was thumping. Do you think in his mom's stomach, he was just thumping, too?
I hope not. Because don't bunnies give birth to multiple babies at once?
Yeah.
He was probably kicking his siblings. Just fucking beating the shit out of them in the womb.
It's like a battlefield. So they come across another log and they're like, Bambi, just hop over it. And of course, Bambi's just learning how to walk. He can't hop over it. So he gets stuck in his middle. He comes off of it. He gets one leg off, and then the other leg goes right on top of the other one, crisscross behind him. He trips, he falls, he lands on top of Thumper. Thumper comes out of his ass. Not out of his ass, but it kind of looks like that. And I was like, gee whiz, what happened this time? And I'm remembering as we get to this point that I don't think Bambi talks as much as I thought he did.
But he does
I
talk.
He does talk, but I thought he'd talk more. And then I remembered they came out with Bambi 2, and that's what I'm remembering.
Oh God.
So
That's not for like 60 plus years. Don't
I
worry.
hope the show ends before we have to watch fucking Bambi too.
I actually loved Bambi 2. I have daddy issues, so maybe
All
that's
right.
why.
Well,
They come across birds, and Thumper tries to get Bambi to say bird, and it takes a minute, but he finally does it. Then he sees a butterfly, and he calls the butterfly a bird. And Thumper's like, no, 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 that's a butterfly. Then the butterfly goes over to some flowers, and Bambi calls the flowers butterflies. And then Thumper,
I have to say something here. I forgot.
yeah,
My boy Bambi here struggling with the word bird, and then immediately gets butterfly. He's on that one immediately.
he figured out how to enunciate.
All right.
So the butterfly lands on some flowers. Thumper's like, yeah, those are flowers. And as he's sniffing the flowers, he sees a skunk, and they like nose to nose come up. Pretty iconic scene. And he calls the skunk Flower. And we find out that that is what we're going to be calling that skunk for the rest of
That's his name now.
this movie.
I always thought Flower was a girl.
I
And then
also did.
and then he grows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, he was just really comfortable in his femininity, guys.
I have no issue with that. Live your
No.
best life, Flower.
He was ahead of the time. Thumper starts laughing, which dick move, Thumper. He's like, no, 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 that's not a flower. It's and before he can say the word skunk, Flower goes, that's all right. He can call me a flower if he wants to.
Which is
And
nice, but also I think Bambi should learn what a skunk is.
Or at least be properly introduced to Flower.
and then Bambi says, pretty, pretty flower.
Did Flower not have a name before this?
I'm sure Flower did. Maybe that's just a nickname that they prefer. Just like Frankie's not your real name.
His parents just didn't name him.
Yeah. They meet Flower, and then we jump to Bambi and Thumper walking alone, and then it starts thundering. There's a storm coming. And he's like, I think we better go home. Bambi goes and hangs out with his mom in their den. And we get my favorite song of the movie and probably one of my favorite scenes. I think it's so cool how the music, this is what Fantasia should have been.
Fantasia walked so Bambi could run.
Yeah.
Fantasia limped to the finish line. So
Yeah, let's be honest here. No, this was phenomenal. I thought it was so great how the music interacted with like the drops and like the cymbals crashing with the lightning. Like it was I feel like I'm talking a lot. Frankie, how did you feel about Little April Showers?
I loved this whole sequence. Let me tell you, taking the April shower from such a fun, cute song into the menacing song as the storm gets stronger and scarier, and then when the storm breaks, it goes back to the original version of April shower. It's great. There's no breaks, smooth transitions. Why does Disney not do things like this anymore? I know why, but come on, please do it.
What's it, what's the reasoning, Franklin?
They want to make more money and not spend money to get actual talented people.
Hannah, what are your thoughts about this song, this sequence?
So I also thought this was also one of my favorite sequences in the whole film. This is I mentioned earlier that the book Bambi is vastly different from the Disney film. This scene was the most similar to the book. Like, if you liked this, you're probably going to like the imagery of Bambi.
I will say, I downloaded this song on my phone. I think
Good
this
song.
would be, I think this is gonna be like a nice song to do shit to, like when it's raining. After the storm passes and it passes beautifully, and we see a nice sunset, and it transitions from a pond, and then we see Bambi and his mom walking through the pond. Very good transition. Bambi and his mom are walking, and Bambi is now fully talking sentences. Bambi's mom is like, I'm going to take you to the meadow. After Bambi's like, where are we going? He's like, what's the meadow? And Bambi's mom is like, it's a very wonderful place. If this is such a wonderful place, I would not consider almost being shot multiple times in this meadow as a wonderful place.
I think they do a great job with the meadow, though. They make it feel beautiful and free, but also tense and restricting at the same time.
That's true. So Bambi asked, "Why haven't we been there before?" And his mom was like, "Well, you weren't old enough yet. Well, big enough." And Bambi's like, "Hey, did you know we're not the only deer in the forest?" And she's like, "Yeah, duh. How do you think you were made?" And he's like, "Why don't I ever see them?" She's like, I don't know. They're around somewhere." Bambi sees the meadow. I know I've seen this movie, but man, the buildup, it still got me.
It's been so long since I saw it. I thought she got shot here. Like this entire sequence, I was like, "Oh no, this is it, isn't it?"
Yeah, same.
No, no. She's like, "Bambi, you can't fucking go out there, dumbass." Well, she was nicer than me.
Then why is she bringing him here?
Why is
Yeah,
everyone bringing their children here? There's a whole fucking party going on.
yeah. I don't understand it. I mean, I know that they're deer,
The
but she
grass
like
is too sweet.
so she explains, the meadow is wide and open. There's no bushes to hide under. There's really nothing to hide under. We have to be very careful. We're not really explicitly told why we need to be careful, and neither is Bambi. We know, because we're humans, that it's because of humans.
Humans suck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Man, I
I
have a
came to that
note.
conclusion pretty quickly watching this movie.
I have a note. I said, "Damn, man sucked in 1942 and hasn't stopped yet, huh?"
so so Bambi's mom gingerly goes out into the meadow, and I'm sure Frankie's butthole was clenched the entire time
Why?
because the tension.
I wasn't like it was tense. My butthole wasn't clenched though.
I don't know if I believe you. So she finally deems that it's safe after birds start chirping. Because
Birds are
normally,
the signals of the forest.
yeah, well, obviously. So Bambi rushes out to be with his mom, and they start prancing and running. We see the duck. Hannah, I thought the duck was who you were gonna say. Actually, you know who the duck is? The duck was Frankie yesterday at the fucking sandcastle in the wave pool.
Man, that wave pool water was real cold. It was real cold. What am I gonna say? It was cold. I didn't want to be in it.
I had to splash him the first time,
It was too cold, Hannah. It was too cold.
which is kind of what Bambi did to this little duck. This little duck tries to dip his little what is that? Little
His
webbed feet,
foot, his webbed foot.
webbed foot. That's what I didn't know if they were called something
Let me
different.
tell you why it was cold. Because it was a nice day yesterday, right? It was warm, but it was cloudy, so the sun wasn't warming the water. I just wanted to let you all know.
He's defending himself.
I don't want to be in cold water.
I would like to say I went in immediately.
Yeah, listen. You're tougher than me, all right? Okay.
You should
Good.
have seen him. This little baby, he wouldn't go until the waves were finally going. This little duck tries to dip his toe into the water. He finds that it's cold and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna try and do what Frankie did." But before he has a chance, Bambi comes and trenches him. The face this duck makes, this is why I thought, Hannah, that you were going to say that I was this duck. Because this face that this duck makes is priceless, and I might have to take a screenshot of it. It's really good. It's kind of like if Donald Duck had a more realistic cousin. So Bambi's playing around. He finds Thumper. Thumper's eating clovers with his family. He's like, "Why don't you try some clovers?" Bambi eats the green stuff. And Thumper's like, "No, no, no, not that green stuff. Just eat the blossoms. That's the good stuff." Thumper's mom, Miss Hare, says, "Thumper." And he's like, "Yes, Mama. What did your father tell you?" Frankie, what did his father tell him?
Oh, this one's my favorite. All right, I had this. I did type this. All right. Eating greens is a special treat. It makes long ears and great big feet. But it sure is awful stuff to eat. I made that last part up myself.
I will say the thing that got me that I couldn't stop laughing at was whenever she said, what did your father say?" Thumper looks at her and goes, "About what?"
Yeah, because he has to tell him a lot of stuff.
Like about brushing my teeth, about not thumping in the house.
About not kicking my siblings with my wild foot.
Yeah.
About being mean to the prince?
Yeah,
Gotta specify.
so many. Bambi leaves Thumper to his blossoms or whatever and his family, and comes across a pond because he was following a frog. He looks into the pond because he sees himself. He dipped his nose in it, freaks himself out a little bit, comes back. Then when he looks into a pond again, he sees himself, but then he sees another deer. This is where we come across Faline, a female deer. And she knows who Bambi is, and she has a crush already. And man, does this girl know what she wants already. So
Only the bastard son of the great prince will do.
yeah, so she's just trying to get near him, really, just to.
She's aggressive.
She's a little aggressive, but he's also kind of a wimp.
He doesn't want cooties. He's at the age where cooties are a big deal.
Yeah, sure. So they come. He runs back to his mom, and then his mom just happens to be with Faline's mom. Which, by the way, Faline's mom is named Enna, Ena.
I did know that. That's in the captions. Why does she get a name?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Why does she get a name? Faline's like, he's a little bashful, isn't he? And her mom's like, well, maybe if you'd introduce yourself. And she's like, hello, Bambi. Um, and she keeps going, I said hello. And Bambi's mom is, aren't you going to answer her? And he like shakes his head at her. He's like, not answering. Don't need to. She does the most mom thing in the book when you have boys. You're not afraid, are you? That's basically the grown up version of saying, what, are you chicken? And then she nudges him to Faline, and he says hello, finally. He says hello, and she gets so excited. She starts giggling. She starts trying to play with him. He has no idea what he did. He's like, I pressed a button and I don't know what happened. And she freaks him out so much that he somersaults into a little pond. And he just looks pissed off. Also, would screenshot this face of just Bambi pissed off. Faline also licks him twice. So he does have cooties now, Frankie.
He does.
And he even rubs his cheek. He rubs the cooties off of his cheek. This got me too. He finally glares at her, and then he like storms out of the pond and goes, "You!" Like he gets so mad. And then they end up playing and stuff. While they're playing, we finally know where all the men come in from. Is this the equivalent of like the men go to work, while the women stay home and like take care of the kids?
What work? What do they do? They're just fucking prancing around.
I don't know. Why are they all together? I don't know how deer
That's
work.
the frat.
Yeah, they're on a frat.
They're all in a frat. I don't know how deer work. Hannah, how do deer work?
Deer where I live work very differently because there's way too many. So instead of men fighting over the doe, they help each other. They help each other get laid.
Well, that's nice of them.
Oh, they act like wingmen.
They corner the poor doe.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's way worse than I
Yeah.
thought.
Why would you say that? You should have
It's
lied
what
to me, Hannah.
happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is a Christian child raising podcast, Hannah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Well, if it's a Christian child raising podcast, this is probably in line with a lot of them.
All right, so Bambi's the men are here.
The men are here. And then Bambi's trying to be like one of the men, you know. He's doing all the same stuff they're doing, trying not to get fucking stomped by him. And then all of a sudden, the great prince of the forest walks through. And man, I want to fuck this deer, Dad.
All right.
Amanda.
I'm sorry. He's so elegant. Like,
No,
he's so
Frankie,
poised.
please cut the bestiality out.
He's so put together. No, this isn't fair because, and me and Frankie talked about this early on, yesterday, I think, was that 90s kids all had their sexual awakenings from cartoons. Lola Bunny is a big one.
I didn't also mean only animal cartoons, but yeah, let's be honest here. Let's all just, this is an open, honest forum. Let's all just be honest. Lola Bunny was hot. Why was Lola Bunny hot?
Yeah, right? Let's also talk
Why-
about like the scene in The Lion King where Simba and Nala are like,
Why was she drawn that way?
why was she drawn that way?
Why was Roxanne in a Goofy movie attractive?
Yeah. I'm not weird. This is in our
Well. To be fair, Lola Bunny and Roxanne are both more like humanized versions of animals. You just said you're attracted to just like a full on deer.
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
I know, it's not what you meant, but it was funnier when I said it that way.
I'm sure there's a fan art somewhere of him in a human form.
There's definitely fan art of that.
That is the
And
dark web. It's not all the weird. It's that. It's not the drugs or human trafficking. It is
It's
that
the
fan art.
humanized, the human fan art version of the Great Prince.
Yeah.
You know what he reminds me of? Have anybody watched what is it, Beastars?
Oh yeah. You're talking about the deer guy from that show.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of him.
You're right.
Anyway, he strolls out and he is literally, it's not even a stroll. It is like a strut. Like he is poised. He looks at Bambi. And we get one of the most realistic deer images, I think, when we get a close up of his face because his ears turn as soon as Bambi smiles at him.
Does Bambi know this is his dad?
I don't know because
But go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say Bambi doesn't know that's his dad, but the Great Prince knows that's his son.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that. He was there for the birth.
Yeah, you didn't see him overlooking everything?
No, I did. Yeah.
Bambi was like to his mom, he looked at me.
He fucking looked at me. Yeah.
Look at me. That's how Bambi is treating his dad, not knowing that it's his dad. Like I treated Eddie Redmayne looking at me.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Touching
you
my
at a
shoulder.
you at a K-pop concert. He looked at me.
Yeah, like he looked in my general direction. His mom was like, "Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that he looked at you." If it were me, I'd be like, "How does that make you feel?" He asks, "Why was everybody still when he came on the meadow?" And she explains that everybody respects him. For all the deer in the forest, not one has lived half so long.
Like
This
they
is
respect him because he's old.
yeah, this is an old man. He's very brave and he's very wise. How old is Bambi's mother?
We have no ages in this movie.
Regardless, he's very old and very wise. So he's looking for a younger woman.
We don't know how old Bambi's mom is. Well, actually,
I-
she's at least, or at maximum half his age.
Right. Because nobody's lived near as long, near as half as long. Which is why I'm saying he's going after younger women. So he goes up onto the hill. He hears some fucking crows. Because Frankie's right. That's how we tell things in the forest.
It's
And
a
he
good
immediately,
system.
it is good. He immediately sprints down, and as soon as he's down in the meadow, he just thumps his legs, and everybody knows what the hell that means. And they all just start running. And of course, Bambi gets lost from his mom. And again, there's that tension. Even though I know that she doesn't die here,
I
there's
didn't
that
know
was.
that. I thought this was it. I was like, damn, they kill her early.
Anna, did you think she was dying
I
here
thought
too?
she was dead. I thought she was a goner.
No, this is where they all run out together as a family. Because his dad finds him and is like basically like ushering him towards safety. And they run out together as you hear a gunshot.
I thought that was it. I thought Bambi's mom was gone.
No, it's winter. He's crying in the snow in winter. You guys don't remember that? It makes it even more sad.
No, I don't remember that.
Well, you do now.
I watched this film like twice.
I watch this all the time because I had to watch this and then I would watch Bambi 2. But I would stop it because Bambi 2 is like a midquel. So I would stop it right after the mom died, watch Bambi 2, and then finish the rest of Bambi. So Bambi is scared in the den after that little mishap. I would be too. And Bambi's like, "What happened, Mom? Why did we all run?" And she goes, "Man was in the forest." And I was like, I felt shame. I felt shame for being a human.
It's Man is in the Forest and These White Men Are Dangerous from Pocahontas.
So even though we don't really see any humans at all, it's still like
They're there.
Yeah, and like the way they make their presence known is fucked up. And when we get to later in the movie, there is some fucked up scenes that I don't remember quite as much. Anyway, so it turns from autumn into winter. This is when I know we were hitting rocky territory, but I knew that the pond scene had to happen before the mom died, so because he was happy in the pond scene. So Bambi goes out of his den and he's like, "What's all the white stuff?" And she's like, "It's snow." So he goes and he explores. It's like, have you
Oh,
ever
she
put
said a line and you didn't. She says winter is here.
what does he say?
Well, he doesn't say anything. Maybe he does say something about that. But I had a joke that comes off of winter is here. I said, "Hey, Bambi, better watch out for the Night King. Winter's here."
I hate you.
Winter. Oh, she says winter has come, and so yeah, he better watch out for the Night King. He's on his way.
So, have you ever put a dog in the snow for the first time? That's kind of what Bambi is doing.
As the resident dog owner here, Hannah, have you ever put a dog in the snow?
My dogs love snow. They like when it gets really high for them because we just let them out into the yard and they run around and they can't escape if they don't have trails to walk through.
That's hilarious.
But they love a good snowfall. They love the snow.
Bambi explores. He runs into Thumper. Thumper's like,
Yeah, he does. Thumper's so good.
"Watch what I can do!" And he goes down a hill and immediately skates on the iced pond on his tail for a little bit, and then he goes on his butt. Very skilled. So of course Thumper's like, "Come on, it's all right." And I guarantee you, Thumper knows full well that Bambi is not going to do well on this ice.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah, this was all for entertainment. And I'll be honest, when Bambi hits the ice and basically belly flops onto the ice, it hurt me a little bit. Like I felt it. Of course, this is the little pond scene where Thumper has to help him with his little legs get up and stand up. And apparently, this is where they used human people.
Was the person portraying Bambi on his hands and feet?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any footage of this. I imagine there's probably footage. But after some shenanigans and hijinks, Thumper finally starts pushing Bambi as he manages to stand up and around. Bambi definitely is going to fall. Flattens again, but with his nose pushes Thumper, and they both end up into a snow pile. And Frankie, or Hannah, either one, whose house is near that snow pile?
Flower.
Is it the moles?
No, it's Flower.
Oh, that's right.
Flower's hibernating. And we see Flower's little feet, and they're so cute.
Do skunks have really human-like feet?
I don't know.
I looked it up because I wrote this note down and I was like, I better confirm if I'm right or not. They do.
They do? Okay, because
their feet are so fucking weird looking. I hate it.
those were weird feet. I'm glad to know that skunks just have weird feet.
They have weird looking feet with claws on them. So like they took away the claws, but like yeah, that's basically what the feet look like. And I'm not a fan. I don't like it.
I don't like it. No.
Someone should change that. Someone should get on that.
God, why did you create them that way?
How do you know it wasn't the devil?
Because in the Bible, it says God created everything.
I feel like God only wants to take credit for the good things.
Hey, all you Christian parents out there, let us know.
Let us know. So they run into Flower, and Thumper Thumper knows full well when he asks this question. What are you doing, Flower? Hibernating? Waking poor Flower up. Flower's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And Thumper or Bambi, I can't remember who it was. I think it might be Bambi. Like, what are you doing that for? And Flower says, all of us flowers sleep in the winter. And then basically says, good night, bye, go away, I'm going back to sleep. And goes back to sleep, using his tail as a blanket. And then after that, we cut pretty drastic scene change. We go into like some harsh winter where we see the fucking deer eating bark and stuff. They're eating all of the bark off of the tree because we can't find any grass. Makes me now, whenever it gets to winter, he wants me to go leave like grass out or something.
You can buy them deer feed. Because if it's really cold, hard winters, we feed the deer.
You're a good person, Hannah.
One time when I was in high school, so 10 years ago, God, that. I don't like saying that. I said it and I regret it. But anyway, it was a really, really bad winter. So we were just like feeding the deer constantly, and they all knew. But we started feeding the deer, especially because we saw a little deer. Like this deer was not, it did not look fully grown, but it wasn't a fawn. It wasn't a yearling. It was a full grown deer. It was just tiny. So we named her Peanut, and she would always come to eat dinner at our house, and she came so often we probably could have hand fed her. R.I.P. Peanut. Haven't seen you since then.
Don't say that Peanut's dead. Don't put that energy out there.
Peanut was fed so well at our house, and then she just never showed up.
So Bambi's with his mom, and he's like, "I'm awful hungry, mother." And she's like, "Yes, I know. Winter's not gonna last forever." And of course, as they're exploring, they're looking for grass. Bambi's mother, being the good mom that she is, finds some grass out in the meadow. It's spring's fresh spring grass that is just popping up. Really excited because they get to eat not tree bark, which I don't know if I'd rather eat grass or tree bark. Probably grass. But Bambi's mom picks up on something. And she tells Bambi to hightail it out of there, and he does. She's like, "Don't look back." As Bambi leaves, we hear a gunshot,
And it's fucking loud and it reverberates. So you
and it
know.
and it definitely sounds like it hit something. So Bambi runs back to his den. And I imagine it's at this point that I get the text from Hannah
Yep.
that says, "Bambi's mom just died. Fuck you for making me watch this."
To which
So,
Amanda responded, "Fuck you for making me watch Life of Luxury."
I was there when she sent you that response.
Oh,
yeah.
were you?
And I said, "Don't worry," and then I revealed what my next episode is, and I'll reveal that at the end. So
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
No, you're not. You know what it is. So Bambi comes out of his den because he ran to his den. He's screaming mother, and he's looking frantically. And I know at some point he probably recognizes that she's dead before his dad has to come and tell him. But I think he was just holding out hope.
what a big moment for Bambi! Like he realizes his mom is dead, and then this is when the Great Prince decides to reveal, "Hey, I'm your dad, by the way."
Yeah, it's a pretty shocking reveal. He's actually startled to see his dad too. Like his dad just appears out of nowhere.
He did.
And he says, "Your mother can't be with you anymore." And Bambi, to Bambi's credit, Bambi looks down, looks kind of sad, sheds a single tear, and then looks back up at his dad, who I don't know if he knows his dad yet, but he says, "Come, my son."
Yeah, that's when he knows. Like, oh, my dad. I'd just like to say this before you move on to the next moment, right?
Yeah.
This is all so heartbreaking,
Oh
right?
my God. Yeah.
It's
That's why I'm
the
not
most
lingering.
heartbreaking thing we've seen yet in a Disney movie. I know there are other heartbreaking moments later down the line in other Disney movies, probably ones that I don't know about because I haven't seen the movies yet. Heartbreaking, devastating moment.
Did you cry?
I didn't because I knew it was happening, but it's still very sad, right?
Yeah.
And then
Like,
going immediately to a gay little spring song. What a dick move by Disney. What a
No,
dick
there are
move.
screaming children in the audience
I
of
know
the movie theaters.
Hannah's correct. That's why they did it. This
It's
is a
still a
kids
dick
movie.
move. I know it's a kids movie. Let kids learn about horrible events.
They did. They did, and they started crying about it. And you don't want to spend the rest of your time at the theater just consoling kids. So
Yeah,
we're
but
gonna make it happy.
guess what? Guess what's a better movie? And we'll have this discussion again, I bet. I'll remember to have the discussion again, but I'm gonna say this right now. Lion King is a better movie than Bambi. And guess what? When Mufasa dies, guess who isn't hitting Hakuna Matata right away?
That's fair. I don't know. Maybe kids in the 90s were more emotionally stable than kids in the 40s. There was a war going on, Frankie.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Is
So.
this how a bunch of mothers broke to their children their dads weren't coming home?
Oh
God.
God.
Hannah!
So we have a gay little spring song.
Yeah, we have a gay spring song, and all of these birds are trying to get some. There is this one. There is this one bird I think they're lovebirds or something. And she covers them with her wing, and then he just pops his head out for a second and like sings before ducking back down. They're totally making out if birds could make out. I think that'd be really hard with their beaks. But they're all dancing and they're all singing, and we see Frankie Owl trying to get some sleep.
That
And
is me, to be fair. Yeah, you're
Frankie,
right.
this is you. You wake up. He's like, what is this now? Like, what's going on? He's like, hey, knock it off.
You're right. That's me.
He's like, stop that racket, scat, shoo, go away. They don't stop. So he's like, I'll fix them. And he hoots really loud and scares them for a second. But as soon as he starts to walk back into his little hole in the tree, they start up again.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
I would have been pissed.
So Friend Owl's like, oh man, what's the use? And he flies away and he flies to another tree. He's hoping that he can get some peace and quiet. He makes fun of the birds for being in love. And then he sits down and tries to nap. But as soon as he starts napping, before I get back to his nap, he does call them a pain in the pin feathers. And I'm going to start using that more. But he sits down, he starts to get comfy. Then all of a sudden, the tree starts shaking. And who do we see? We see the male deer. Poor Owl doesn't know what the hell's happening. He sees like multiple of Bambi before his vision gets back. Tells him to get out of here. And Bambi's like, don't you remember me? And Friend Owl's like, why, it's the young prince. We're like, damn, Bambi grew up. He's still not as hot as his dad.
He went to summer camp.
He did go to summer camp. You didn't watch Bambi too?
No.
I did years ago, I think, probably.
I don't think he went to summer camp in Bambi too, but we know what he does if you watch Bambi too.
Wait, really quick question.
Yeah.
How much time, like, what is the time frame of Bambi 2? Like, is it just the rest of winter? Or is it like a full year?
It's a year, I think.
It's okay, so he's 2 years old at this point in the film then.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense than him being a yearling.
Well, I think because Bambi 2 ends, but in Bambi 2, Thumper and Flower are still around and everything. They say, hey, Bambi, how have you been? We were wondering what happened to you. So at some point, Bambi leaves, I guess, with his dad to go on a.
They go camping.
Yeah, and comes back all grown. Bambi runs into Thumper and Flower, and they're like, "Hey, do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you. Blah blah blah. We're friends. Blah blah blah." They see two birds basically making out and dancing in air, and they're like, "What the hell's the matter with them?" And Frankie Owl is like, "Don't you know? They're Twitter-pated." Such a good word. It's a fun word to say, and I like it. I'm not going to go through Friend Owl's explanation, but just know I was thoroughly entertained the entire time he was explaining what Twitter-pated meant. But he basically says, you see a
They're
pretty
in love.
face. Yeah. You see a pretty face and you lose yourself. And they're like, I'm not going to get Twitter-pated. It's not going to happen to me. And they like sternly walk off. Their heads held high. First up, Flower. Flower comes across another female skunk. She doesn't have a name. If you look on Disney Wikipedia, it just says unnamed mate. She goes and hides in some flowers. How fitting. He sees her. She starts giggling. Blah, blah, blah. Bump noses. He starts to try and walk back, but she kind of lures him back. And as she is getting closer to him, he turns his head away, then turns her right back and accidentally smooches her. And he becomes stiff as a board. I wonder, do you think that Disney purposely made that reference?
No.
I do. Bambi and Thumper look back. Flower, you just see two skunk tails walking in a flower bed. He stands up, he like gives a shrug and goes back walking with his girlfriend. Next up, Thumper. Now Thumper's mate is Devious, and she does have a name.
What's her name?
Her name is Miss Bunny. That is her name.
So she might as well not have a name.
Her name is Miss Bunny. Can we talk about why they made this bunny so sexy?
This was the Lola Bunny prototype.
Yeah. I will say though, I was watching this. If you look at her face, the way her white cheeks come around, it makes it look like she has a Santa beard, and I couldn't stop seeing it. But she starts humming to Thumper, and I think full on just kisses him. And of course, when she kisses him, he starts thumping his leg. And in order to get him to stop thumping, she has to hold his nose. How did you feel about your favorite character right here, Frankie?
Falling in love?
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
He was simping real hard,
I'm happy for him. Hey, he found a good woman.
and he fell straight down on the ground. Bambi looks back, and he's laying on his back. She's playing with his ears. As she's like moving his ear back and forth, his foot follows and thumps with it. So Bambi walks off. Of course, he's in a pond. He drinks from the pond, and he sees Faylene just like how they met. And she's like, "Don't you remember me?" And again, he falls in the pond, just like how they first met. Gets his antlers caught in tree branches with flowers, and she licks his cheek, and it's all over, ladies and gentlemen. Bambi is Twitter pated, and he just sees clouds.
He fought the hardest and fell the hardest.
Yeah, he is seeing clouds and everything. He's just prancing along with her. But as he goes to follow her behind this one cloud, out comes an angry deer. Now, this deer is not named in this film, but we do find out this deer's name in Bambi 2.
Yeah, but don't reveal it now because we don't know it yet. Bambi
Please
2
reveal it now.
Bambi 2 doesn't exist.
I'm going to reveal it now. His name
Oh, this is disgusting.
is Rono.
What is it?
His name is Rono.
Ron.
Ronno.
I don't like that.
Yeah, do you wish you hadn't asked for it to be revealed now?
No, I still wish to have known it. I just don't
Oh,
like
no.
the name.
I
This
thought it would be
little
like
kid was
Ralph.
No.
It's too
He was
close
a
to
bully.
Reagan's name.
He was Bambi's bully in Bambi 2, and of course he ends up trying to fight for Faylene's affection. But they end up fighting, and to be fair, Rono is kicking Bambi's ass in the beginning. Like, full on kicking Bambi's ass. I will say, towards the end, there was one point where I couldn't tell who was Rono and who was Bambi.
Oh, I quickly lost track.
So when one went into the river, I was like, I don't think that's Bambi, but I'm not sure. They did make this pretty realistic for deer, I think.
I thought that was such another really cool piece of animation because they have like all the fight in shadow, and then when Bambi wins, he has that shining light behind him.
Yeah,
So good.
the juxtaposition. And of course, he's standing there, looks like the great prince of the forest, and Faylene just rubs up against him. So they go on a little date. They do like the little Simba and Nala thing. So they go on a date. There's a song that plays. Very nice little romantic song. And then all of a sudden, they're in a den. Afterwards, Bambi leaves the den, which this is where we find out that that's probably not the best idea. But at the same time, I also am a little mad at Faylene because she shouldn't have left the den either. But I know why she did. She's like, oh, maybe Bambi abandoned me. So I'm mad that Bambi didn't tell her where he was going. And I'm mad that she didn't stay put. I know it was a miscommunication, but it upset me. Regardless, Bambi goes and explores for a minute because he sees some smoke coming. And he runs into his dad, which was his dad stalking him.
Oh, probably to protect him.
But his dad's like, it's man. He's here again. There are many this time. And we see a bunch of birds cawing around it. We see it's a tent site. Bambi's dad is like, we have to go deeper into the forest. Hurry, follow me. And before Bambi can follow him, he's like, oh fuck, Faylene. He goes back for her, and Faylene wakes up and notices Bambi is gone. And she runs in the opposite direction. This was such like a. She leaves, and then we stay on the scene for a minute, and Bambi comes like soon in after. But he goes the other way, so they're looking for each other. Crows are going. This was probably one of the most difficult scenes, and I was wondering how you felt about it. The quail.
Not as impactful as Bambi's mom.
I don't know. We see her dead body land. These three quails are hiding in the bush because we see all of these animals hiding from man. This quail is like freaking out, like she's having a panic attack. She's like, he's almost here. Can you hear it? We need to fly. We need to fly. And these other quails are like, no, don't fly. Do not fly. And of course, she flies. And you hear a gunshot. And you see her dead body land. And then every animal around her just goes away. Then you see feathers blow from gunshots. You're just hearing gunshots left and right. Like this whole thing bothered the hell out of me. And if I found these hunters, if these hunters were real, I would murder them myself. So they're all running, they're all trying to get safe. Faylene then comes across the hunting dogs. This is another thing. They animated these dogs so ugly. And I know that the dogs are only doing what they're bred to do, but damn, I hated these dogs.
They were more wolf than dog.
Yeah, they
And I know that was done purposefully to demonize the animal, the dogs more. So you just, it wasn't, they weren't cute animals like the forest creatures.
yeah, they looked almost demon-like. Faylene runs, she gets stuck on like this weird cliff thing. The dogs are trying to get at her, and Bambi sees her and fights them all off with his little antlers and stuff. He tells Faylene to run. He is just covered in dogs at this point, but manages to get them off and lose them. Jumps up a cliff and kicks some rocks down.
Did not
onto,
like that. I know
on,
he was only defending himself, but the poor puppies.
onto the dogs. I don't think those are puppies. In my mind, I'm thinking that those are hellhounds.
Okay.
He jumps off of a cliff, tries to land. As he jumps, we hear a gunshot, and Bambi gets shot in the leg. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I didn't remember him getting shot.
I thought he got bit or something, and that's why he like collapsed in the forest. But I didn't remember him getting shot. So Bambi lays there for a little bit. But we see that it's probably not a good idea for him to lay there too long because, man, this is why Smokey the Bear, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to kill them. Smokey the Bear probably found them and killed them himself because they just let their fire alone and they catch the entire forest on fire.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I'm so upset by these people. By the way, the fire is animated beautifully. So all of these animals are trying to escape. We see that Bambi is just laying there. And then we hear his dad's voice. We don't see his dad, but we hear his voice. He's like, Bambi, get up. Get up, Bambi. You have to get up. And we see him finally. We see his little face.
And he gets
And
up. Dad could have helped out.
How?
Get your horns underneath and like help nudge him up.
No, he had to do this on his own. He probably would have.
He was not helping at all. He just stood there.
They
Great
are running.
prince, my ass.
Yeah, well, you gotta teach him how to be a great prince. It's a lot of pressure. Nobody was there to help him when he got his leg shot. The whole forest was burning. They're running away from the fire. At this point, Bambi is, I'm guessing, ignoring the pain.
Too much adrenaline.
They're following the river. They manage, they come across fires. They stop. They have to go different ways. It's kind of like a Scooby-Doo, but with fire. And then they jump off the waterfall. And we don't see them land in the water or anything. We just see the current of the waterfall and then the river. And then we see this little island in the river where all the animals are gathered. And we see it's horrifying, but it's also beautiful the way it's animated. The whole forest being on fire with like the smoke kind of making like this little haze over it. It is very pretty. So all these animals are swimming to this little island, and we see Faylene standing there looking for Bambi. We see Bambi and his dad walking towards the island. And he runs up to Faylene. He's glad that she's safe. She's glad that he's safe. And they do a little deer kiss. They touch noses at least. I don't know. Okay, we're back in the forest. We can tell that it's been burnt, but nature does what nature does best. And it rebuilds and it grows. Brendel is sleeping. This time Thumper comes in. By the way, Thumper, all of Thumper's kids are girls. And I think that's adorable.
And they all thump.
And they all thump. And they're like, wake up, Frendel. By the way, Thumper's girls are all voiced by young Thumper's voice actor. I said I did a lot of research on these people. Frendel's like, what's going on? What's going on? And Flower comes over and he's like, it's happened. He's like, yeah, what happened? In the thicket. Then Flower turns around and says to his son, who is named Bambi, Bambi, come on, Bambi. And he's like, yes, Papa, I'm coming. Flower named his son Bambi. We see Mr. Mole has two kids with a Mrs. Mole. So we just see all of the animals again. They crowd around Faline, and we see not just one baby, but two babies.
And they're so cute.
Yeah, Bambi's sperm is strong. And one of the babies bites the other baby's ear, which is really cute. Do you guys want to know what these fawns' names are?
Yes.
They have names?
They have names. Their names are actually based on the book Bambi's Children, which was the sequel to the first book.
Wow.
Their names are Gino and Gurry. Gurri.
I don't like that second name.
How did they get Gino?
He came out as like a little Italian elf from Super Mario RPG. He looked like that at first, and then they called him Gino.
Hey, Gino's one of my cousin's names. Don't make fun.
I'm not. But you're Italian.
Gurry is actually the lighter skinned fawn, or the lighter furred fawn, and Gino is the darker furred fawn. Frendel says to Faline, Prince Bambi ought to be mighty proud, and we see Bambi and his dad looking over the thicket. We come back to the song Love is a Song that starts playing towards the end. Bambi's dad walks away and leaving Bambi just standing there, meaning he is now taking over the role of Great Prince of the Forest. He, straightens out his position, and that is how the movie ends.
What a good movie.
It was really,
being
really
a shit father, not near his girl for the birth.
He was near, but
hey, he learned from the best.
You know what I think? We didn't see when they were born, so we don't know if Bambi was there or not. Maybe he left when he knew that a bunch of people were gonna come there and he didn't want to be bothered. Let's give Bambi the benefit of the doubt. We didn't do that for his dad.
Love this movie. It was so good.
It was really good.
Visually stunning.
Frankie, let's get to these rankings.
Okay. Where are we putting Bambi as a protagonist?
Okay, give me the first three.
Number 3 is Snow White. Number 2 is Pinocchio. Number 1 is Dumbo.
I think Bambi is number 1.
All right, Bambi has taken Dumbo away from number 1.
I think he has, yeah.
For villain, obviously, Man.
Number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's so hard. He did actually kill somebody. I'm going to put Man at number 2. I still think the evil queen.
Under the queen, all right.
I do think we have some, I don't know, there's just something about her that screams iconic.
You don't really see Man.
Yeah, you don't really see Man. I can't give it to somebody that we don't see.
But Man also murders 2 characters.
That's fair. Multiple, probably.
And starts a forest fire.
Yeah.
I have 2 new categories I want to add. One is a late addition that I didn't think of until now, which is on me. But I think realistically only 3 movies of the 6 that we've watched, 4 movies of the 6 that we've watched will have any characters in it. Sidekicks.
Okay.
So Snow White has the dwarves.
Okay.
Dumbo has Timothy Mouse.
Timothy is above the dwarves.
Okay, Timothy is above the dwarfs. Pinocchio has Jiminy Cricket, who I assume is at the bottom.
Yeah, he is below the dwarves. We hate Jiminy Cricket in this place.
And now Bambi has Thumper and Flower.
Oh man. Yeah, they're above Timothy.
Okay. And I had to put them as a unit because Thumper and Flower are a unit.
They are a unit.
And then this is a category that's new exclusively to Bambi. We will, I assume, add to it later on. But not every movie's going to have it. If you argue that one of the movies we have watched has a moment, obviously this is your project, so I will concede. But heartbreaking moments.
I would say Dumbo's baby mine is a heartbreaking moment, but you can put Bambi's mom dying above baby mine. Baby mine got me so much that I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't get how that was a sad moment.
He was away from his mom when he was a baby.
He's a big boy, literally.
Frankie!
His mom's not dead.
I'm not saying that Dumbo goes above Bambi's mom's death, There was a reason why I didn't talk about Bambi's mom's death because I didn't want to not have to be able to run my episode again.
Where does Bambi go as a movie?
What
Number
are the
one.
top 3?
The top 3, number 3 is Pinocchio, number 2 is Dumbo, and number 1 is Snow White.
It goes at number 1.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because, like, obviously this is your list, so we don't have like real input on it. But I would have been so upset if Bambi wasn't number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the art direction is just as beautiful as Snow White. Snow White is still a marvel because it had like the first humanized figures, but Bambi really cemented what Disney could do. And it was executed perfectly. I don't even think I needed the extra 12 minutes that they cut off.
Do you know what those scenes were supposed to be?
No, I don't think anybody does.
Okay.
There's some deleted scenes on Disney Plus.
How can you see deleted scenes?
If you go into Disney Plus and you click on the feed, like the Bambi movie, under extras, it has the original trailer and then a couple deleted scenes, and then there's some other stuff like you can watch it in a indigenous people's language. But yeah, there's some stuff there.
Did not know. That ends it for Bambi. So was not expecting this to be number 1. So glad that it is.
I wasn't either, but it was so good.
It was really good.
This is a movie for adults. This is not a movie for children. This is for adults.
No, I liked this as a kid. I watched it as a kid.
I hated it as a kid. I thought it was fucking stupid as a kid.
I actually tried drawing animals based on watching Bambi.
And where is that artwork now?
I'm sure my mom has it somewhere.
So what is the next movie? I already know what the next movie is because I knew what it was yesterday.
Do you want to announce it or do you want me to announce it?
It's the title is Saludos Amigos, right?
Yeah. Let me double check. Yes.
The fucking like the film that comes before Three Caballeros, which is the one everyone knows.
It's not the film that comes before Three Caballeros.
It's not right before, but it is before it. Like if you're people like know Three Caballeros, but they don't always realize that Saludos Amigos is what birthed Three Caballeros.
I think it's Saludos Amigos.
I thought it was Saludas, but
No.
it might be Saludos.
I'm scared.
Amigos. I didn't take Spanish, so
How's it spelled?
like DOS.
Oh, then it's Saludos. I thought it was DAS.
Yeah.
I've watched this before. I don't think it's good. This one is also barely a movie, Hannah. It's only 42 minutes.
Okay, I like that runtime, but I'm scared.
It's another anthology film.
Do you know what comes after that one, though? Victory through Air Power.
Propaganda film.
Propaganda film, baby.
That movie's longer, by the way. That's an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh. Well, Frankie, what are we doing next week?
Yeah.
Next week, because remember you said fuck Amanda for making you watch Bambi.
And I said,
and she said fuck you for making me watch Life of Luxury. And I revealed to her, guess what? I'm making you watch Hulk Hogan again. That's right, everyone. We're going back.
We're going back to Postomania.
We're going back to WCW. We're going back to 1995. Going down south to Miami, Florida.
Oh, you did that research? Because I
did the research.
I asked him yesterday where it was, and he's like, don't know.
We're going back. We're going down to Miami, Florida for the second ever episode of Nitro. We're going to review it. We've got, as we know from the last episode of Nitro, Randy Savage facing Scott Norton and everyone's least favorite racist wrestler, Hulk Hogan, defending the World Heavyweight title against Lex Luger? Yeah, I think it's Lex Luger. Lex Luger's the one who came out and demanded a title shot, so I'm pretty sure it's Lex. Yeah, that's what we got going on. And as always, everyone's favorite segment on the WCW shows, Pepe's Fashion Corner with Hannah.
Pepe! I've missed Pepe.
We'll get to learn what costume Pepe is wearing. So,
I'm excited for that.
We're going to watch the second episode of Nitro. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to make you watch Hulk Hogan wrestle again. I'm not actually. That means I also have to watch Hulk Hogan wrestle. So.
Will there be Hulk Hogan hate signs?
Maybe. This is the era of of WCW where people like started turning on the Hulk Hogan character and not liking him.
Can't blame them.
He got booed last time we watched, remember?
He did.
And it was so good.
And people were cheering the group beating the shit out of him. So yeah, we're gonna watch WCW Monday Nitro, but that's next week. Let's end this episode right here by taking care of some last minute business. If you are watching us on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you are notified whenever our episodes are uploaded. This past week's episode that came out where it did not come out day of,
It's
but
okay. Frankie was dying.
I was sick. So, but if you have that bell, you'll know when it's out immediately, and the time usually changes as well. Sometimes it's Wednesdays at 7:30, sometimes it's a little earlier, sometimes it's a little later. Who cares? If you're listening to us on Spotify, remember to leave us a review, answer the question that is on the episode for Spotify. Tell us what you think of the episode there. And remember, either YouTube or Spotify, to share this with a friend, with your family, with anyone you think who would like us reviewing Disney movies, Scooby-Doo, wrestling, or hear a nice little creepy story. If you would like to give us your thoughts about the show and not just leave it publicly, or you would like to ask us a question, or you would like to give us some suggestions on episode ideas, you can do that by sending us an email. And that email is
Nothing to see here podcast at gmail.com.
if you would like to see funny memes or previews of episodes created by Hannah, some fun artwork created by Amanda, and participate in a weekly quiz on the weekly released episode every Friday afternoon, you can do so over at our Instagram page, which is
Nothing to see here pod. As always, here is spelled HEAR.
and the email address and Instagram page handle are in the episode description below and the episode information section on Spotify. And I think that's all of the business we have to take care of.
Wait.
So,
If
yes,
you're Erica, you can skip all of that and just text me.
that's fair.
Only if you're Erica.
Anyway, that's all the business we have to take care of. Join us next time when we review WCW and continue to join us on our journey of reviewing Disney movies. So thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye. It is Frankie.
It's Hannah.
I'm gonna go look up human pictures of the Great Prince of the Forest. Let's see what the fan art's got.
Oh my god.
Dear
All right.
God.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.